Hi guys, welcome back to Joe's Jibber podcast. And today we're doing a podcast about BPD, and I'm joined here by my very good friend Nicola Riches. Hello Nicola, how are you?
Hi, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. All good.
Good.
Happy to have you on.
Good. Me too.
Yeah, man, be good. So,
Exciting.
reason why I want to do this podcast is because obviously from being me and you have known each other for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly through growing up, we came to the same village, same school. Obviously, I'm a little bit older than you, but obviously over the last probably year,
Yeah.
we've been getting with like really good friends now, same
Bessie
friends group,
mates.
busy mates, and obviously I've discovered a little bit more about BPT and I had a bit more of understanding for it
Mm-hmm.
of it through you. But I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of people do understand it. And
Yeah,
I think
definitely not.
if you meet someone who does suffer from it, it'd be quite difficult to empathise with some of the actions they may come across with because you don't fully understand. So that's the reason I kind of wanted to do this, just to get a bit of understanding,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of awareness about what
Yeah.
BPD is and how it affects people. So if you're happy to give us a bit more knowledge today.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So where I wanted to start it really is like early on. So like early
Okay.
in your life. So
Right. Okay.
when was your behaviour different when you were younger? Obviously, they probably didn't know.
So yeah, I
what it
wasn't
was
diagnosed until last year. So when I was younger, I didn't know anything specifically was wrong for myself, mental health wise. But looking back now, I've been diagnosed, and I know a lot more about my diagnosis myself. My behaviours make so much more sense, like misbehaving in school or being so particular about a specific thing, even just acting out over something that was not even necessary to have that big of a reaction over, and you just get called a brat or something when you're little, or terrible teens, and people really don't sympathize with it with younger people, which is absolutely awful because obviously especially young girls, like they get called brats and like moans about periods and hormones and all that, and sometimes it's not that. And for me, like, it's a lot clearer for me now that that's not what the case was. It was the fact that I was suffering quite badly with mental health problems and there was no solution at the time.
Do you think as well, even like older people, say like your superiors at the time, so your teachers or your parents even, do you think they kind of just brushed it off as maybe hormones and didn't
Absolutely.
really?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that was literally always the case. You just get told to like grow up and like just sit like yeah, literally, like, no, but just to put it under like the blanket for now and forget about it. And that's just like learning as I've got older, that's not the way to deal with things. Even if it wasn't to do with mental health, that's not how you're supposed to deal with stuff. But especially because it wasn't very, like, mental health was not an awareness thing for a long time, so they really didn't understand it, and it probably made it a lot harder for me growing up, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It probably made it more difficult.
Yeah,
if anything,
definitely.
It's like with mental health illness, any mental health illness, the longer you suffer in silence and people don't understand, and you just feel like you're the only one in this bubble.
Well, I mean, I think the hardest thing is that, like, I didn't even understand how I was feeling. So the fact that I couldn't even explain it to someone else for them to understand how I was feeling and help me, that was the most frustrating thing about all of it, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So it's something you, like, looking back, do you think you suffered from it even as, like, say, lower school, like as a young child? Have you always had it going through, or is it something that developed as you went?
I'm not really sure when it really, like, I can't pinpoint a beginning of it. I specifically remember like middle school being really stressful for me emotion wise. I think that's because obviously your emotions do get a lot more heightened as you start hitting puberty. So I guess with my emotions coming in so much then, like, having that instability of keeping control of your emotions was just off the scale by then. So I think that's probably when it became such an issue, but obviously I didn't deal with it for so long because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Well, I don't know if amazing is the right word. It's almost a shame that it's taken this long to find you a diagnosis.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They tried to diagnose me with multiple different things before they even concluded borderline as an overall diagnosis. So
what else Can you remember anything else they thought
So
it might have been, or?
like 2.5 years ago, they just went with depression, anxiety, like very generic, diagnosis, like just chuck me any medication for it, and then was like, go on your way. And clearly, because of like things that happened afterwards, that wasn't the diagnosis. Well, it was, but it wasn't all the what it was, and the medication they were giving me wasn't specific for myself. And then I started going to like different, more advanced like mental health doctors and nurses to then get my actual diagnosis.
What are the kind of, I don't know if symptoms are the right word, but so people can understand about BPD? So is there like triggers, or what kind of behaviors do you experience?
So they say about borderline personality that mainly like a trigger for having the diagnosis is like trauma. So if you've a lot, it's not the only thing, but majority of people that do have BPD have suffered some form of trauma in their life to end up with this diagnosis. But I don't know, it's completely about your emotions. And the worst part about it is it can't be medicated. They can give you medications to help you. So like there's nothing you can look out for. You just have to notice the way someone deals with their emotions. Like everything is 10 times worse for someone with borderline. Like you could just be a bit sad, but that's suicidal for someone with borderline. There's no balance between it. It's one extreme to the other, and minute to minute. There's nothing else to it other than that, really. And it changes like every way like you deal with life.
It must be quite hard to deal with, that your emotions can go from being on top of the world, happiest person in the world, to like, what's the point?
It's literally the most terrifying thing. Like you don't know how you're going to wake up the next day. Like I've always said this, like, you know how I always say it's so hard to make a plan for like the following weekend, because I don't know if I'm going to wake up and want to do something that day. And it's not just because I can't be asked to get out of bed. It's such a different feeling. And obviously it is the psychological thing. Like if you don't get up, it makes it worse. But there's that barrier that you actually can't get up. It almost seems physically impossible.
That must be quite scary to be in that mindset, because it all is, it's a state of mindset, isn't it? And to be in that mindset where you just don't even want to get out, and to the point where most people, like, that would be the easiest point to get out of bed, is like when you go to see your friends, there's a party going on, stuff like that. So to even not be able to, when something that's going on,
that brings you joy,
shows that sometimes it just can't be helped.
No, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Not being in control of how you feel is completely terrifying.
Must be very frustrating.
It is, because there's so many, like I said, it can't be medicated. There's so many different things that you have to try and teach yourself that can help with balancing out your emotions. So like things like cold water on your face to like bring your blood pressure down if you feel angry or something. You learn different strategies like this, and like counting and breathing techniques, loads of different things that they try and teach you. But even something like that, it doesn't help all the time, like, because you have to learn them over and over and over and over to get them perfect, so that if you do randomly out of nowhere, say I switched in about 3 seconds and I had to do one of those off the top of my head without even thinking about actually doing it, to like calm myself down, like, and it's scary because it's like, it's not a normal way for your brain to process. It's almost like you have to be wired to do it, and it's not normal.
No, it's like you say as well, you can switch in like 3 seconds so you've got to almost be fully aware of what's happening within them 3 seconds to put one of them calm mechanisms in place. Otherwise, if you don't do it within like the first however long, like, your head's gone. That's it. Like,
in the words of Bojo, you have to be alert.
Stay alert. Love that.
Don't think I could have worded it any better than he has.
Love that. Did you ever have any judgment from people, or?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. For so long I was told I was just attention seeking, that there was nothing actually really wrong with me, and I was just sad with my own life. And I was like, You're absolutely correct. I am sad with my own life. Yeah, that is exactly spot on.
Yeah.
But you have got the whole wrong idea about it.
Yeah, it must be quite frustrating to be called an attention seeker when
that's the thing.
You're like, I'm not, and you're like, no, you are. No,
I'd rather
no,
you
I'm
don't
not.
give me attention for this. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you'd rather not have attention over it altogether. But that's such a common thing. People that don't understand mental health, a lot of people don't even think it's real, which is absolutely horrible for someone like me to hear, because I know it's real. It's very, very real.
Yeah. You do hear it time and time again, though, and I think it is. That's why it's good to spread awareness, because even with like suicide awareness,
when I was
people
growing
try
up,
and commit suicide, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it was just wanting
for attention." Yeah. Well, that's the thing. When I was growing up, and like when I got my diagnosis, I had no idea about it. If I had someone, like I have friends now, like that have diagnosis same as me, that can help me through things that I've made friends with over this. But at the time I didn't, so I had to learn all by myself. So this is why like I'm happy to do something like this, because if it just gives someone a bit of knowledge, maybe someone will listen to this and think this sounds like how I feel.
Yeah, I'm not.
And then
on my own.
someone doesn't have to deal with that on their own then.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. That's what we want to do. That's
100%.
That's what I want to spread the awareness, so people who don't suffer can realize what it is, but also the people who do suffer could be like, it's not just me, I'm not on my own. Like this, it's almost normalizing. Well,
that's the thing. It's such a lonely thing. Like you always feel alone with mental health, like any form of mental health. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is, you will always feel alone. So something like this does make you feel like you aren't on your own, and there is someone there that you can talk to. Because I know everyone always says, I'm here if you want to talk, but there's, in the nicest way, you don't want to talk to everyone about it. Like you can't just talk to the next random person about how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So it's nice when people do have an understanding and are really there to support it.
I think that's where I'm one of these people who always wants to learn and understand, so I can be there for my friends, because I've had other friends as well who've been suffered with depression and anxiety, and I've had family members who have been as well. And I've always tried to educate myself so I can support them. And if I know there's something going on, just be like, look, I get it. Like, I'm never going to fully understand, but I get it. And I'm here for you. And I know what is going on in your head to some degree, rather than
which is so nice, to hear from someone as well.
Yeah. No, that's what it's all about. And I think a lot of people, even if people don't say it out loud, like they'll probably, if they listen to this, and they'll be like, oh, I understand a little bit more now, and I get why Nicola is the way Nicola is.
Oh, do you know how many times people were just like, "Oh, you're such a bitch."
Nicola's
I mean,
I
probably am.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, there's reasons why I've said something that I've said. Like, obviously, you don't pick and choose who you want to be horrible to. That's not how it works. But you do have tendencies to snap.
If you're a cunt, then you get called a cunt. That's it.
Yeah, but you do tend to snap at something when you shouldn't have, or overreact to something that didn't require an argument about something. And it is all it's a domino effect. Like one thing happens and then another thing happens, and your emotions spiral out quicker than the term of events happen.
Yeah. So one problem in your life escalates into 10.
Yeah, and it literally ruins your life in about 3 seconds. Which is what happened when I lost my keys last year, wasn't it? I literally just lost my keys, and look where I ended up.
Right. Yeah.
Look what happened there. That was a perfect example.
Do you want to go into that?
Yeah, go on. Let's do it.
So what happened then? So you run us through it.
I woke up in the morning, pretty good mood. We was going to pick up my friend, and we were going to go out for lunch. I think it was either shopping or lunch in town. I can't remember. And I was completely ready to go, and I texted, I was like, leaving, I'm on my way, and I could not find my house keys from the previous night anywhere. And because then it was a warm day, my anxiety went overdrive because I couldn't find my keys, and I completely spiraled out and ended up taking my 3rd overdose, completely unintentionally trying to kill myself. That was not my intention anyway.
Trying to kill yourself.
No, I didn't want to kill myself.
It was a freak out moment where you just
a mind blank of pain. I don't even remember taking half of the tablets I took. After a certain amount, I just blacked out, but apparently I kept going. And I can't even. It's just you take one after another because you just think the last one you took isn't working. And then from there, obviously, because I'd taken so many, obviously I had to go to hospital, and I was on the acute assessment unit for a while.
Was this the time where someone that we both know had to climb through a window?
Yes, that is the time.
That's
my family obviously were not home.
I was in the pub, and obviously I was friends with you at the time, but we weren't friends like we are now. I'd still say we were friends.
Yeah.
And I remember being in the pub, and she ran in, and she had like covered in dirt, and like
she
had
to
what the hell's happened?
Through.
And she literally, I like bearing and crying, and was like, "Get me a fucking gin." And I was like, "What's happened?" She was like, "It's Nick, like."
Yeah,
it's happened. She got
obviously because I couldn't.
Oh no! It was just like gutted. I was like, oh bless her. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was locked inside the house, which is obviously one of the reasons why I was panicking, because I couldn't get my keys to even get outside of the house to get fresh air or anything. And she had to break into one of the windows because she realised I wasn't picking up my phone, and she was like, something's happened. And then she literally came to my house, and obviously my car was still there, hadn't even moved. And yeah, she had to break in to find me and call me an ambulance. So
how did you feel after that?
Honestly, once I was in the AAU, I just wanted to go home. I was sat there in bed.
Did you feel okay mentally though at that point? Like you were kind of over it?
Yeah, I mean, literally, like as soon as I had like my stomach pumped, and I'd like slept it off for like about 16 hours, I think it was. I was just like, I can promise you, I'm not going to go home and try again. I just want to go home. I want to have a shower. I want to put on some fresh clothes, and I want to have a cup of tea in my own bed. I don't want to sit in your dusty sheets and hospital gowns with like tubes up all my arms. Like, I didn't want to do that. I was like, this is not going to help me. Which is the same as when I got a section. I was like, this is not going to help me. So I was just like, just get me home. I was like, I promise I'm not going to do it. It was a moment of weakness. I was really disappointed in myself as well, though, because
that's what I was going to say. I didn't want to say it in as many words. Yeah. But I was going to say, like, did you feel like a bit of a twat? Like,
well, this is the thing. So the other two times, no, because they were a lot different. But the most recent time, which is what we were just talking about, I thought I was dealing with it and learning a lot better, and I thought I had a lot more control over my emotions than I clearly did, which is why I was really disappointed, because I thought I'd come a lot further than I obviously had.
Yeah, must be frustrating, because I think you think that you're doing better, everyone else thinks you're better, and all of a sudden, like, especially as we live in a village, you know, it's like, well,
it's like 3 steps forward, 10 steps back, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, it's like in Cranfield, everyone probably knew about it.
Everyone knew about it, yeah.
Yeah, so then not only
literally go to the pub like the next weekend, and everyone's like, are you all right? I'm like, do I look all right?
Yeah, I'm fine now, just give me a drink.
Just give me a pint.
Yeah, give me a pint and shut up.
Yeah, literally.
You touched on it there, and it's quite a good segue, because I was going to go into that next. Yeah. When you mentioned about you were sectioned.
Oh goodness, that time. Yeah.
Was that when? Would you say that was when it was at its worst then?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So how did that come about? How did you end up in that position?
So I'm only going to briefly touch on that because I don't want to go into details, but it came from a sexual assault.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I had to deal with. I mean, it happens. It's probably not the best way to respond to that, but it does. It happens very, very often, and it's something people don't even want to talk about, because who's there to say what's the truth? Which is why I never press charges at the end of the day. But that did happen, and I was left on my own afterwards, and obviously I was really struggling that morning, which led to me taking an overdose, and my street being packed up with police cars and ambulances. This is when I lived in my old house, and which is then, because I was by myself, I had to be supervised by a police officer all the time. I was on suicide watch, and then they shipped me off to Newham Mental Health Centre in London, and locked me up, basically.
What was your behaviour like at that point, though?
It was in daze. I was in an absolute daze. I was so dosed up by what I'd taken that it took so long to come out of my system. I was completely numb. Like,
So that's why they sectioned you, because you just didn't seem like a
I wasn't even
human.
I wasn't even talking to them properly when I was in the hospital in Bedford. So that's why they ended up sectioning me, because I couldn't even have a full conversation. So like this, like, we can't let her go home like this.
What was it like? When did you first come to, like, when you got sectioned, for instance, then when did you first kind of come to and have that realization of where you were and why you were there?
When I woke up and there was a girl standing in my doorway staring at me, and I was like, I don't belong here. This is like, the whole night before, there was a woman singing Christmas songs in the middle of February all night long. Like, it was one of those realizations that I need to get in control of what's going on, because I'm going to end up hit somewhere like here long term if I don't. And
you don't get
I didn't need to be there. I understand why they put me there, which is obviously for safety precautions, but I didn't need to really be there.
Yeah,
I feel like someone else needed that bed more than I did.
Yeah,
so I had to kind of kick myself up the arse at that point and say, right, you need to get your meds sorted, you need to sort your shit out, Nick.
Get your shit together. Yeah, was that the realization point then, do you think?
Which is,
do you think you needed that though?
I think I did, yeah, because that's when I decided to move back home to Cranfield. I came straight back to Cranfield, and from that, my mum began to keep my medication locked in a safe and give it to me daily. Therefore, there is nothing I can do to harm myself if she's not in the house. I can't get to it. Not that I would want to do it, but just taking like that risk away.
Yeah. Or eliminating the risks, because like you say, not that I would want to do that, but you just, I suppose, with how your behaviours before, your mum could say, well, there's nothing to say that you couldn't do that again.
You didn't want to do it the last time, so what's to say you won't want to do it the next time? Yeah,
precisely. Yeah. I think anyone with mental health as well, I think you always think you're better and you always think I'm fine now, but there is always that chance with mental health, if you've experienced mental health,
relapse is so common
backwards. So it's I don't think it's ever a case of like everyone wants to, like everyone that suffers from mental health wants to say, I'm fine now, I'll never do that again.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, like, you need to constantly be on top of your medication. Like, having it changed over regularly is important, because you can get so immune to medication that you're taking. Like I said, it won't like cure your BPD, but it will make a massive difference to you, and which I've learned. Like, look at like how I'll like bug out if I just haven't taken my medication for like an hour. Like I'm such a different
pub
person.
One day, and I went out into the smoking area, and you and Amy were there, and you were just like freaking out. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what's the matter with you?" And Amy was like, her mum didn't. Her mum's away, and she can't get the. I think your mum had gone out or something, and then you were only like a few hours late, and you were literally. I think it was a mixture of needing your meds, actual mentally, and the fact that you knew you hadn't had them, so that placebo.
So it was all psychological at the same time,
panicking that you hadn't had them.
Yeah, because you need to get into a routine of taking them, because it is a chemical imbalance that needs to be rebalanced. So it will spiral out. Like, if you miss one day's worth of medication, it could completely fall out of your system, and it takes a whole month to get back into your system again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when you get put on a medication, they give you a review after 4 weeks, because you won't even notice the real effect on yourself until 4 weeks down the line. Some people it can be like 3, some people even 5, but they average it at about 4 weeks.
Oh wow, fair enough.
Yeah.
So if you fall out of that cycle, you can be on a pretty
shit place for about a month. Yeah.
How do you?
That's why it's so important to take them.
No, absolutely. How do you think, like right now at this moment in time, in comparison to, say, because it's probably been, what would you say, like 2 years when it's been at its worst, or a year?
About a year and a half since it's been at its worst. Yeah.
But do you think you're at the best place now? Like, you on the recovery track where you'd say right now, like, I'm smashing it and I feel great? Or
yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud of myself. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I've come such a long way. I have come such a long way from where I used to be. Like, even the fact that like I have like a friendship group with you guys now where I can go out and do things all the time. It's such a different way of my life to how it was to even when I first moved back to Cranfield last spring. It's so different, and it's so nice to like be able to notice the difference in myself, like the way that I can just do normal things that I never used to be able to do. Yeah,
you must be proper proud of yourself, and at the same time, I think everyone else is as well. Like, that's
Oh God, I'm gonna cry.
No, honestly, like as a friend of yours, like I think we all were so proud of how far you come. Like I haven't even known you
Thank you.
like deeply for that amount, like long amount of time. But even I can see like such a massive difference. And like, do you remember, like beginning? I think it was beginning of the year when you finally got discharged.
Oh my gosh, yeah, when I got
From
discharged from the
hospital,
mental health
and we were
team.
straight away in the group chat. We were like, "Go to the pub
Drinks!
to
Let's
celebrate,
go!
celebrate." We're up there. We're like, "Cheers to you!"
Yeah, that was a massive stepping stone. Like, I didn't have like the regular checkups and stuff. But obviously, I'm still not there yet. I'm not allowed to work or anything just yet because I'm still deemed as mentally unstable as such. But we're on the right track now, which is such a good feeling. Like to know that there's some hurdles I've already come over, and I can see myself like quite soon going over more hurdles, which is really, really good.
And I don't take this the wrong way as well, but I remember, say, like I think when you first started going to the Swans, like properly, say, like 2 years ago, maybe. There was times where I didn't even know how to take you.
Yeah,
because of your like the way you were acting, like because you were quite like abrupt,
scary,
quite like very, a bit snappy and a bit and like even I didn't know how to take you, and I was like, I'm not sure, and Nick like and stuff, and then I got to know you and I knew your situation, and then I've seen you improve through that, and it's like almost a bit of a different person now.
My friendships and relationships have improved so much now. Like I used to really struggle just maintaining a friendship because like obviously how I behaved. So it's so nice now that I know that there's like a solution to all of it now. So
yeah, and I know that everyone, like all of us lot and all your friends, like are super proud of you, and it's kind of good as well because you've now been in that position where you've been able to make like friendship groups and what have you. You have so much more of a that support network there as well, and a lean on.
Yeah, that's what's so comforting. Like I can literally rely on any one of you. Like,
oh amazing. Yeah, 100%. So if you ever feel like you're going a little bit backwards or you're having a shitty day, straight away you can just message someone, or even if you don't have to say like I'm feeling shit, just be like, just start chatting, and then it's having that someone, that then people there,
just someone there.
Trust. So I think it's amazing. You've done wicked. I'm proper proud of you.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Keep going, girl.
Thank you.
You got this.
Absolutely.
That's about it from what I want to say. Anyway, I don't know if you want to add anything more.
I just like, if anyone is listening though, but that isn't sure, just talk to someone, because like I said, I didn't even talk to someone until like 2.5 years ago. And like how much different is my life now? Imagine if I never even went to that first doctor's appointment that my mum made for me. Like I would not be where I am now. There is no way.
That's a very
but people just always need to know that talking to someone, like, yeah, it might be awkward and you might feel like patronized even by a doctor or a mental health nurse if that's who they book you in to see, but it is worth it. There is no doubt. Like mental health is not a joke.
No,
it's not.
No.
Like people take their own lives from it, and there is nothing scarier than someone wanting to end their own life.
Yeah. No,
you have to have some real strong, deep feelings to do something like that. So
yeah, I've had it touch corners of my life.
As
well, mental health, whether it be depression, whether it be depression to the point of suicide, like crippling anxiety, and see people I love go through shit like that. When people don't take it seriously and show it the respect it deserves, it's kind of upsetting, because you're like,
it is very upsetting.
You don't understand. You don't know what these people are going through. Like, I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, "Oh yeah, someone killed himself through lockdown, because like suicide rates have gone up by 200% through lockdown."
Shot up, yeah.
And I knew it was going to happen.
And it's not surprising. It's not surprising. No,
we knew it was going to happen. What can
the care for mental health was not there in lockdown. My mum and dad were even petrified at the beginning of lockdown how I deteriorated very quickly in those first few weeks. So
it kind of gets forgotten about through all of the politics and the healthcare and the NHS.
Unfortunately, it really does. Yeah.
And it kind of gets pushed to the background when something else is going on. And that's the other thing that that's quickly what I was saying there. So someone obviously knew someone that killed himself, and he went, "Oh, he's fucking selfish."
Like, why? That really upsets me.
And he was like, "Because he got a 4-year-old daughter." and he's got like a missus, and then he killed himself. It's just fucking selfish. And I was like, do you really think he was
Do you even
sitting in a
understand?
place going, do you know what? Fuck my daughter. Fuck my wife. I just can't be honest anymore.
That was never going to be the thought process.
That was never going through his head. People who commit suicide, in their head, think that they're doing everyone else
a favour.
Like a favour. Like the world would be a better place. My wife. You
feel yourself as a burden. You always feel like a burden, and it's just getting rid of that burden for everyone else.
Yeah, and that's what it's just spreading that awareness, so we don't have that kind of mentality. Because imagine if you do suffer from mental illness, but you don't. There's a lot of people that suffer from mental illness, especially men, who don't speak
in silence.
In silence. And imagine you talking to someone and go, "Oh yeah, fucking this, that, and the other," and then you're sitting there going, "He's talking about me." Like, and that's going to
exactly. You need to be careful of what you say. Like, you never know what someone's going through, and you should never, ever, ever act like everyone around you is completely fine, because 9 times out of 10, like, not like there's only going to be like one person in a group that hasn't got some form of mental health issue that they are aware of. So
no, exactly. I think there's just so many people shallow-minded, and I think it's good, but in the same way, it frustrates me is. You have Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about it for a week.
And then it's nothing for the rest of the year.
And then it's forgotten about for, like, next week. They're like, oh, yeah, do you remember last week? It's like...
Yeah. No.
It doesn't really get...
It's because people do it to make themselves feel better. Like, I've supported this for 1 week of the entire year. I am a fantastic person. Like, that's not what support movements are about. It's not about doing it when it's aware. It's about doing it 24/7.
No, exactly. And not pushing if some people just grab the same agenda and push the same agenda as what's floating around on social media at that moment.
Yeah.
It's the same with like the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
Still everyone and
people just act like they don't care anymore.
Was posting about it, and now who's talking about it?
Yeah. It's
now,
ridiculous.
do you know what I mean?
And
it's all well and good as well talking for a screen. I'm not trying to like big myself up here. Because, like I said in the last podcast, I had people telling me, "Oh, don't do the Black Lives Matter podcast. Be careful."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, fuck it. I'm going to do it," because it's quite easy to sit there behind a screen and just share a picture of.
Of course, yeah. You need to take action. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'm doing this again today.
That's what I mean. Just talking about it. Yeah, just talking about it raises awareness a lot more than people are even realizing.
Yeah, and I've got the easy job. I just have to sit here and ask the questions. It's the people like Tina last time. Out, and yourself today being brave enough to come on here and be so open with how you feel and your emotion.
Yeah, so publicly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, but it's for the greater good, so we can help people and educate and make sure that people don't feel on their own.
Yeah.
So you've done a good job, Nick. I'm well. Like, thank you for coming on, and
thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed this.
No, it's been really good. I know I've been wanting to get you on for a while now, so I'm glad.
I know we've been talking about it a bit, haven't we?
We've got you on, and obviously out of the group as well. It won't be the last time you're on. I'm sure we'll.
I'm sure it won't be.
Get some pods going. Maybe something a bit more light-hearted.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We'll get on and have a good laugh. After a few beers, we'll get you on.
Oh no, 3 beer Nick.
Yeah. See, no, at the minute as well, no one's actually heard your full-on proper laugh yet as well.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no, we can't have that come out on a podcast. My absolute cackle.
Nick's famous laugh. We'll get it on the pod one day.
Well, it will come out. I'm sure it will.
Nice one, babe. Right, so I think that's about it. So thank you so much for coming on. And if you want to speak to Nicola, and I'm sure she'll be open to talking about it. So I'll leave her 100%. Instagram link in the bio. So go drop her a follow and DM her if you do want to talk. And I'm sure if you want to talk confidentially, then she'll be absolutely fine with talking and helping you and making you feel like you're not on your own, because you're not. If you're happy to do that, Nick.
Of course, yeah, I'm here for anyone. Happy
days. So
happy days.
I will leave her link in description. Thank you all for watching. So like the video, subscribe to the YouTube, and it's also on your Apple Podcast platform, your Spotify platforms, and my Instagram will be down below as well. Again, thank you, Nicola, one last time for coming on.
Thank you, Joe.
I'll see you in the pub soon.
See you in the pub.
Peace.